Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Kristina Ping-Kepperling and 𝐬𝐿𝐵𝐾𝐿𝐿. They're partners at Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. Kristina, how are you today?
Wonderful. Great to be here with you always.
It's so great to be together with you as well. And Rob, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you.
It's so nice to have both of you in the studio again, and I can't believe how fast the weeks go by in between the shows. It's been so incredibly busy, and I know that you've been helping people retire with confidence and retire comfortably. Rob, has the office been very busy lately?
There has been a lot of activity in both of our offices at Lexington and Louisville.
Okay.
And we're very blessed. We're very fortunate to be able to help out so many people.
That is fantastic. I know people love having you as a resource to come into, to speak to, and just talk about planning for retirement. Today's show is specifically talking about playing catch-up, because we know we've all made mistakes in our lives when we're planning for retirement and with finances and what have you. But let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we can do to play catch-up, Kristina.
Well, first off, if you are giving us a call to come into the office, I want to make something point blank clear. There is no number. There is no limit. There is no amount that you have to be able to come in and visit with us. That is just not something that you should be limited on. And when we're choosing our clients, just like you're choosing us, we do not choose the client by the number either. There's no special limit that you have to have. So with that being said, when we're talking about retirement, catching up a little bit, what if you're sitting there in your 40s and 50s and you haven't even started saving for retirement? That's okay. That's what we're here for. Let's catch up. Did you know when you're 50 years and older, you can contribute up to $7,000 a year into your IRA programs? It's only $6,000 a year under 50, so there's a little bit of a catch-up opportunity over the age of 50.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that information. Let's talk a little bit about Roth IRA annual contribution limits. Rob?
So when we're looking at Roth IRAs, we put non-qualified money into it, and by the time you're 50, Kristina was saying, you get to put an extra $1,000 a year in there, which doesn't seem like much, but you put it in after taxes and it continues to grow. And then you can pull that out completely tax-free, which is a very big option for a lot of people. Now, it's the little things that help, little things here, little things there that add up to a lot. And a lot of people say singles and doubles win the game, and I think that's appropriate for this conversation.
I think it's funny how, you know, we're sitting here as professionals and my sweet husband is struggling between the qualified and non-qualified. Because this is a mind and a heart situation. So first off, qualified money means you've not yet paid the taxes. That's not good. But it sounds positive because it's like you're qualified to pay some taxes. This is great. So it's kind of a mind and a heart situation where they just don't add up. So we do have the argument in our minds a little bit. Roth IRA, my favorite thing about Roth, Cynthia, is that the contributions that you make, even though you're paying the taxes on them first, all of the growth and then all of the future distributions, there are a few rules, but the future distributions, they're tax-free. We love tax-free. Woo woo,
yes.
Tax-free on everything is the very best. There are only two ways to have tax-free retirement: Roth IRA and the tax code 7702. I'm not going to tell you what that is. You have to come in and see us to find out.
Absolutely. Rob, let's talk a little bit about the 401k for a little bit, if we could.
Absolutely.
What about people that do they reach a limit where they can only put so much in per year?
So it increased to $19,500 this year that you can put in. And if you're over 50, you can put an additional $6,500 into that 401k, which is a lot. When you look at your past and how much you make and how much you're putting in throughout the year. And also when we talk about 401ks, we say this on the show a lot, is approaching those that are younger and approaching their retirement time that is still a little ways off, put extra money in. When you get a raise, take that raise and put all of it in there. Once you get past your 20s and 30s, you've got a little bit more room freed up. You're making more money and you're able to get closer to that $19,500.
That makes sense. And why not take advantage of free money, if you will, that your company is offering you?
That's the best thing to call it, is free money. Anytime that you're missing a match, you're just missing out overall. And folks, there is a really awesome thing going on right now. So the Secure Act of 2020 increased the automatic 401k contribution limit from 10 to 15%.
Wow.
So yes, if you're over the age of 50, even though you're limited to $27,000 a year, as long as you're not going over that amount, up to 15%. That's amazing. Just a great opportunity to be able to save more. And by the time you're in your 50s, you should probably have a little bit less debt. You're not having to buy the latest and greatest sports car that's having a big fat payment, and maybe you've tamed those credit cards a little bit better, so a great opportunity to be saving more for retirement.
That makes perfect sense. And we can save by just doing small changes like we've mentioned in prior shows.
That's right.
Just putting a little bit aside will add up over time. And I love how you give guidance to our younger viewers as well, because obviously it's so important for someone to make their maximum contribution that the company's going to match, so it's a win-win for long-term growth.
That's right. And maybe you're a parent or a grandparent that's just sitting out there. We want to give you as much information as possible to be able to help our youth. I'm a huge history fan. That's probably my second favorite channel next to the HGTV. And I love watching the History Channel. When you learn from history, you learn not to make those mistakes again.
True.
And if you've made financial mistakes in your life, please talk to your family about that. It could help prevent your children or grandchildren from making the same mistake. That's a great thing.
It really is a great thing. Absolutely. Well, Rob, I have to ask you, what about permanent life before we open up the phones for our next commercial break, if you will?
I think it serves two purposes. I think it's ability to save money for a distribution later on in life, and it's also a great way to protect your family if something were to happen to you. You could also put that on your children or grandchildren and save for their retirement or save for their future as well.
And Kristina, you're passionate about permanent life. Let's dive into that a little bit further. Why are you so specifically passionate about that?
Well, there was an old insurance, the old life insurance. I call it death insurance. It would just pay a death benefit, that's it.
Okay.
Well, universal life is universally fantastic. It does so many things. First off, we're looking to take care of a family, protect a family. That's what insurance is to mitigate that risk. So when you're talking about the life value, which is how you find out how much insurance you need, you want to weigh out what's called a dime. Your death and debt expenses, your income, so there's your I, M for mortgage, and then E for education or extra expenses. You add all of these things up, total it together, that's the approximate amount of life insurance that you would need to just make sure that your family is going to be okay if you're not here. Now, for some people, that's going to be a little bit more or less, but what you really want is someone who's going to represent you to get you as close to possible on what you can afford. If you can't afford it, it's not worth anything. We don't want you to have some type of insurance that it's going to strain your budget. So a lot of times if you're younger, taking care of a huge expense that you're covering, maybe a large mortgage and you've got young children and obviously your spouse is dependent upon you, then we certainly want to have a term policy. For those of you who are looking for a more permanent coverage, permanent to cover your final expenses, permanent to cover something other than life insurance. Life insurance is not just for the death benefit or the living benefits. It could also be for retirement savings. I just gave another little hint there.
I love that. I love that. It's something that's so creative that people don't think about, but when they come into the office, you can explain it in detail to them.
And we love that. We insure every part of our lives, our homes, our automobiles, our cell phones. Why not make sure that you're insuring your retirement and your life?
That makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Well, Rob, I know that you and Kristina have a very special offer to present to our viewers at home today. Let's talk about what that is before we open the phone lines.
Yes, we have 10 complimentary reviews for you. We want you to come in. We want you to call. We want to get to know you. They are complimentary. They are extensive, and they are confidential. So what's it going to hurt? Come in 2 hours with us, and you get either a second, third review, or even your very first. We're here to help you and help you make the best decisions possible. What you do now affects your future. So why not get the best advice? Call.
I'm sorry.
No, call us at 877-893-5099, or you can click on that QR code with your phone. You can take a picture of that, and it'll take you straight to our landing page.
Rob, thank you so much. Kristina, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the number to call is on your screen. That number is 877-893-5099. We know you have a lot of questions for Kristina and Rob about how to plan your perfect retirement. They have the answers for you. And as Rob and Kristina have mentioned, 10 complimentary consultations are available today. You don't want to miss the opportunity to also get a copy of The Retirement Train, Kristina's amazing book. If you have your smartphone, go ahead and grab that and click the QR code in the corner of your screen. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, we have more about catching up for your retirement. Stay tuned.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Kristina Ping-Kepperling and 𝐬𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐾𝐿𝐿. They're partners at Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. A great show we're having today, talking about catching up for retirement, which is so important. Obviously, we know we've all made mistakes in the past, and it's really nice to be able to catch up a little bit to make sure that you're going to be okay. One of the things I want to talk about in this next segment is really kind of interesting, cutting back on bills. Kristina, what does that mean, cutting back on bills?
What is a bill? A bill is something that you get every single month or on a regular basis that you have to pay. Is it a bill that you need, or is it a bill that you want? And when you're getting into retirement, for some people, you've been making a mistake. While you're getting that paycheck, you've probably not paid attention to your subscriptions that are just automatic. So one of the things that we like to do when we sit down with you for that initial consultation, go over the last 3 to 6 months of your bank statements. See what all of those bills really are, or even your credit card bills. Sometimes you have multiple accounts. Don't fool yourself. You've probably got things that you're paying for that you're not even using. And how can you cut back on bills? When you're retiring, you shouldn't have to cut back on the comforts, like your home being comfortable or being able to eat what you want or the medications that you need. So we definitely want to talk about all of the small things, the little things add up.
They do add up. When you think about it, going to the Starbucks drive-thru every day can be, or not every day, but you know, let's say weekly, it can add up over time. And it's really important as you're entering retirement to make sure that you are going to be taken care of, like you said. Rob, this is a great one. I want to talk about this, cooking meals at home. Let's talk about that because that sounds fun.
It is, and I love cooking. We both do.
Yes.
So when we get into the evening, just prepare those meals, but fix an extra portion for everybody. That way they can take it the next day. Or if you're fixing breakfast for them, fix a little something for lunch so they can take in.
Yeah.
And whether it's kids or whether you're on your own, it's just you and your spouse, I think, you know, Sunday afternoons is a great way to cook together.
Definitely.
Prepare those meals, keep them in the refrigerator, and then use those throughout the week.
Definitely. That makes perfect sense because obviously people probably don't realize how much they spend, Kristina, when they go out to dinner regularly.
Absolutely. And a lot of retirees, I'm seeing them wanting to be healthier than ever because they want the rest of their life to be the best of their life.
Yeah.
I have so many retirees that are doing this thing called intermittent fasting. So they let their body fast for approximately 15 hours. So there's only a small window of time that they would eat. And so they're only eating 2 meals a day, maybe a small snack in between. So they're eating significantly less, giving their bodies more of a break, and they're finding themselves a healthier weight, healthier overall, and it's fantastic.
Oh,
so
wow.
2 meals instead of 3. That's quite interesting, and it's very healthy. A lot of them have been wildly successful, and actually a client of mine that's a very well-known physician, he's the one who told me about it. So I know it's got to be healthy. He wouldn't do anything that's not.
That makes perfect sense, and that's amazing. What a
Yes.
great idea, actually.
Absolutely.
And they're feeling better, more energetic. I love that. Rob, this is a great one. What about taking kids off the payroll? Let's talk about that.
They
I
come
think
off?
Yes,
I can't
we're
wait.
getting ready to, so Preston, Tyler, if you're watching at home, your bills are going to go up because we're going to start charging you rent. No, I'm just kidding. So when they get to a certain age, you know, they've got to be taken off the payroll. They've got to start learning how to pay their own bills and have their own responsibilities in life. And I think that's hard for a lot of parents to do because they just want the best for their children. And you know, we've got to look at too, if you're getting close to, if you have younger children and they're just getting into college, it's not your responsibility to pay for college. It's a privilege, but it's not your responsibility. So you have to evaluate how much can you afford, and if you can afford to pay for it and that's what you want to do, that's your choice. But if you can't, are you going to pay for their college? Is it the right thing to do?
That's not necessarily a popular opinion either, Cynthia. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
More people want to pay for the college. And I have this absolutely amazing client, and he has an HVAC business. He passed it on to his son. His son did not go to college. He went to a trade school just for a small period of time to be able to obtain his license to practice. He's been working with his dad for years throughout the summer, and he's taking over the business. His dad did not give it to him, which is a wonderful thing because it's just not reality that things are handed over to you. That's not the way things really are. So I think it's a very successful strategy for his parents to be showing him the way of the business, putting him into this amazing business. This young man is 20 years old and makes 6 figures.
Wow.
In this service. It's amazing. I know 20-year-olds that are in college living off their parents and living off of student loans.
Yeah.
That's not healthy. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's all about the choices that you make. And college is a choice, whether it's a popular opinion or not. It is a choice. And for those of you out there that are younger, maybe you don't want to just be in college. I know some students who have a butterfly degree and they're going after a master's in butterflies, and, you know, they're enjoying their job at Starbucks. They're not necessarily progressing with anything that's in their job. Not the most popular opinion again, but I'm telling you, reality and your family really need to be matched up.
Most definitely, and we've talked about this in the past. I think a lot of things would change, especially for our younger generation, if how to balance your checkbook was taught in school. You know, giving financial responsibility to children at a very young age,
Yes.
it would change the overall dynamic. Rob, do you agree?
I do. It does change the overall dynamics on things, and I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I apologize. I'll let Kristina handle that question.
The
That's
older
okay.
boys.
We're all about trains here. It's all about trains.
Well, and right there in Kidville, we talk in the book about communicating with your children concerning finances. My 2 oldest boys, they're 21 and 24, and when they were in middle school, I was letting them write all of the checks every single month. I let them see what was the income coming in, what were the expenses going out. They had a lot more respect. They weren't always asking, you know, can I have some movie money or can I have some roller skating money, whatever it may be, because they understood sometimes things were tight. That's the
Yeah.
reality. You need to see that. I think coddling your children or grandchildren and not showing them the reality, that's a big mistake.
Yeah, it most definitely is. And I remember back to when my daughter was a child, she actually worked so hard to purchase her favorite movie. And every time she did a chore, she would put a little money inside, to the point where she had enough to purchase that DVD back then. And it was the best because she felt like she accomplished something herself.
Way to go, Mama. Those checks and balances, I think that's one of the best things that you can teach your family, because that's reality. What do
Yeah.
they call it now? Adulting? No, it's just reality.
Yeah. It most definitely is. Well, Kristina, I know that you and Rob have a very special offer to present to our viewers at home today. Let's talk about what that is before we reopen the phone lines.
We do, folks. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, this is a complimentary review that we're offering. We do open up our schedule for 10 time slots every week. We love to give this to you. And even though it says complimentary, that doesn't mean it's without value. I know folks that are going to other firms, they're paying upwards $1,500 to $2,000 for this type of a review. Please do not delay. If you're close to retirement or in retirement, perhaps you just need a second opinion. Don't delay. Pick up the phone right now. Give us a call. That number on the screen, that 877-893-5099, or pull out your camera on your phone. Snap the QR code. It'll go right to a landing page to send your information. Let's get you scheduled for your review today.
Kristina, thank you so much. Rob, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the number to call is once again on your screen. That number is 877-893-5099. We know you have a lot of questions for Kristina and Rob about how to plan your perfect retirement. They have the answers for you. All you have to do is take advantage of picking up the phone and calling in today. 877-893-5099. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We're going to continue on the path of catching up, and we have time for one viewer question. Could be yours. Stay tuned.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place, then help determine if you are well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision. So why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you are getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back to Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Kristina Ping-Kepperling and 𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐼𝐾𝐿𝐼. They're partners at Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. And just a dynamic married couple, I may just throw in there. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit more, keeping in line, if you will, with catching up. And one of the next ones, what about changing the thermostat by 1 or 2 degrees? Kristina, let's talk about that.
That's a really big argument around the house. There's this mysterious thing that happens. I have it set because, you know, we have a bill to pay, and then all of a sudden, the thermostat that's near the children, it changes by a couple of degrees. I tell them all the time, don't make me put a cage with a lock on that thing. Don't touch it. You know, when you pay the bill, you can touch the thermostat. This is a great way to save money, just a couple of degrees. We do have several clients that are retiring from the energy business, so we get to talk to them on a regular basis, and they tell us, ever so simply, do not strain your systems. Do not strain the electric grid. When it's really, really hot outside, walk around barefoot in your home. Put on some shorts and a tank top or a t-shirt. Be comfortable and adjust the thermostat just by 1 or 2 degrees. It makes a really big difference. In the winter, just the same. Turn it down just a little bit. Put on a sweater, put on some socks or house shoes, and you'll be just fine, but it will really improve your electric bill. It's quite amazing. They said almost 30% difference.
30% difference.
Or a couple degrees. That's amazing.
That is awesome, because I have the same problem at home, actually. When I'm home, it's at one temperature, but then mysteriously, when my husband comes home from work, it changes.
Oh, it's so awesome.
I'm like, what's going on?
I'm glad you blamed it on the kids.
Right?
Did you do it?
I did not do it. No. You forget, I'm still scared of you.
I love it. I love it. Well, one of the things I want to talk about again as we recap everything today is obviously today's show was talking about catching up, and it's so specifically important right now because we're all dealing with inflation. So, Rob, why is this such an important thing to be speaking of today?
Because inflation is in front of everybody right now. It's the most talked about thing that we're going through. It's the most inflation that's happened in a long time. And it's important to understand exactly where you're at, where things are being, I guess, gridlocked at, the supply chain. One thing affects everything in our lives. And I think that all goes back to the truckers, whether they can find people to employ to ship things across the country, or just the gas that they're using to haul it. It's a tough situation right now, and I think we all should be worried about it.
Absolutely, most definitely. Thank you, Rob. Kristina, we have time for a viewer question. Do you mind if I guide this to you?
Love it.
Kristina and Rob, how do you recommend one starts to save if they are not savers? Or how should I save more? What advice do you give to me?
Well, first off, you should be saving your entire life. You should not ever stop saving. It's such a great habit. Teach your children when they're young. If you're just getting started saving, start small. So for example, if you can put aside just 1%, 1% the first month, the next month maybe go to 2%, the next month 3%, just tiny little baby steps. Back in the day when I was younger, they used to have this thing called the Christmas Club at the bank. And they would take the roll-up on the change of transactions and put it into the Christmas Club account. And then I had an automatic $10 a month that would come out. It was so much money at the end of the year, and I was able to buy my children what they wanted, you know, because I've done the same tradition every single Christmas. It's one thing they want, one thing they need, one to wear, and one to read. They get 4 gifts at Christmas.
Oh, I love that.
So the Christmas Club let me afford that, and then we focused on our family traditions for everything else, you know, our hot cocoa and our matching pajamas and our picture in front of the tree with all of the fun. So instead of worrying so much about finances, talk about this all year long. Whether it's the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and it's the middle of the summer, start talking about your savings overall, not just for the holidays. Talk about your savings overall. Don't put things on credit cards if you don't have to.
Yeah. Find ways to hide it. And that sounds bad. You hide it from yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I've talked about this with 401. You get a raise, you put that in your 401k. You just add that to it so it's out of sight, out of mind. Do the same thing with automatic payroll deduction. have a savings account. Do not have your savings account and your checking account linked to the same bank that you can just easily transfer money over. Have it going to another bank and just going and sitting there. You don't see it, you don't really look at your statements on it, let it go over there and let it accumulate, and you'll be surprised at how much you can save up.
All valuable pieces of advice that you're giving the viewers at home today, because obviously everyone's thinking about the same thing right now, inflation, planning for retirement. If someone currently has a plan in place, Kristina, how important is it to have a second opinion about that plan?
I think it's very important, just like if you were to receive a medical diagnosis that was perhaps terminal. This could be something that affects the rest of your life. Your retirement is the rest of your life. Let's make it the best of your life. And folks, I'm going to share a little bit of an inside secret here. Most of you that are calling in are calling for a second opinion. Even if you have a professional that you're working with and you love this professional, perhaps it's a family member, we will happily work with them. Perhaps we offer something that they don't, and that's okay. I actually have a client that her brother owns a very large financial services agency down in Tennessee, and I take care of all of her money. Her brother's selling the agency and said, as soon as I'm done, I want you to take care of it too. So we were all working together for the greater good of his own sister, and then I'll end up taking care of him as well. And, you know, we just never know what's going to happen. But if you need a second opinion, you're just not sure, are you on track? Are you going to live longer than what your money is going to have? Or are you going to outlive your money? What's that going to be like? We don't want you to run out. We don't want to run out ever. Let's keep on track.
That is true. That is true. Well, Kristina, with only a minute left of the show this week, any final advice that you want to give to our viewers at home?
Yes, folks, we've been talking about savings this entire episode. I think saving is paying yourself first. You're the one who earns that paycheck. Put it to yourself first. Save first. Pay all those bills last. Let's get those good habits going right out of the gate. If you need some help, you want to sit down and talk about this, pick up the phone right now and give us a call. That number's on the screen. We do give up 10 time slots every single week, so we still have a couple left. Don't delay.
Kristina, thank you so much. Rob, thank you so much for another amazing episode this week. To our viewers at home, most specifically, we would like to thank you for spending time with us today. The number to call is 877-893-5099, or if you have your smartphone, go ahead, pick it up and grab it. We have that QR code right in the corner of the screen. Thank you for spending time with us on Powerful Legacy TV. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we look forward to seeing you back here 1 week from today. Take care now.